You don't want to stay and help me on the Blazer?
No, I'm going home. I got a Ranger to build for a race in January.
That's right. That's pretty exciting.
That is cool.
We got a Ranger and an Ultima race in January. We're gonna have to see if it fits my schedule. I mean, maybe I got to check my kid's schedule and all that other stuff, which they haven't fully ironed out the date yet. They said 17th tentatively, but
Yeah.
I think the 17th is Cora has a competition somewhere, a gymnastics competition. Anywho, let's get back on the Blazer, and we're going to see if we can bust off the rest of the body mount bolts. I got that one out. And I think I may go ahead and drop the gas tank and the suspension out, the rear suspension, just so that I can maybe get in there a little easier. And I might have to get in there with a Sawzall because, yeah, those bolts are not happy. But if I can do that, then maybe I can lift the body up off the frame. Like I'll go ahead and cut the cage loose, and that might make it a little easier to do some of the things to this thing. I'm hoping. Might even go ahead and take the rockers, the side rockers off. There's some kind of, like if that piece was off too, that would definitely help with getting in and re-welding that stuff. At least the front one. The front one's the one I'm gonna have to modify. Like you can see them, like if we lower or we raise the frame 3/4 of an inch.
It looks like this body mount's bent. Is it?
I don't know.
It just looks like it's kind of bent down here and there's like a gap right there.
Yeah, it kind of does. I mean, this thing did do some really
Maybe like the inertia
crazy
of the body coming down.
She's got a little rust in her here and there too, so that part I might fix. Some of the other parts, not so much. She's
Rust is weight reduction.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. And we just might have to let that be. But I'm going to go ahead and take the front shocks out of it too so I can get them sent off to Minsker. Anytime I see a shock that's got a lot of oil on it, makes me wonder if it's been leaking. So, let's get to work. Yeah. And it'll just be me because somebody's going home.
I'm going home.
Bye. Beat it.
Okay.
All right, let's go. All right, y'all. So how is this for a change of pace? We're jumping right into the time lapse right after the intro of the video. And as always, huge shout out to all of you that are channel members, as well as those of you that have bought some merch from winwithksr.com. You know, that's a huge help to keeping the videos going. I always say that, but you know, the channel memberships actually gives me some extra drive to do some short video content for the members only. And it's been a lot of us goofing around in the shop, and not really goofing around because we're still working, but you know, like we'll film something where we work on a little bit of a project for just a couple of minutes, and it might not be some of the more popular projects in the shop, but you know, it just gives the channel members a little bit more of an insight into what we're doing. And then the long form videos, like you guys are watching here, still continue on the main channel that's free for everybody to watch. But, you know, you can see I've already jumped into this project pretty deep tonight and got the rear end out of it. And then the next move, I think, looks like I've gotten the fuel tank out of it too. But I decided to just keep taking this thing apart more and more so that we can eventually get down to a foundation to where I can start moving back forward. You know, it's kind of one of those things where the deeper I keep getting into the thing, I keep finding, like, you know, more and more things that kind of need to be addressed. Like I get the anti-roll bar out and there's one bushing that's darn near completely seized on it, and that's not ideal. which I had already planned to put a TRZ anti-roll bar into the truck anyways, just because they don't bind, because they have a self-oiling bronze bushing that the anti-roll bar pilot's on. And I have yet to find a car that a TRZ Girth Brooks anti-roll bar would not work perfectly in. We've been really, really fast with some outlaw drag radial cars back in the day with them, and they just flat out work. But now that we got kind of the rear of the car addressed, we're going to go ahead and take the front suspension off here. Like I said earlier, I do want to send out the shocks over to Minsker and have them checked out, resealed, gone through them, just because I'd hate to take this thing to the track and find out that we have a dead shock on it. That's, you know, something it's leaked all its oil out of it, and it just doesn't function very good. So while we're working on the chassis, that'll probably be a week or two turnaround for them to go through the shocks and send them back to us. At least that's what I would assume the wait would be. Maybe it's a little bit longer, maybe it's a little bit shorter. We'll find out after we send them over to them. And on the lower control arms on both sides, it ends up giving me quite a bit of a fight. But we will talk about that more here in just a second.
Well, that escalated. And I guess I can't say I didn't know that it was gonna. But, you know, I just took everything all apart almost. And I've got to take out the sweet seat brace that Ty made, as well as rip the carpet out the rest of the way. Probably put my tools away. That would be a good thing. And I'm going to cut out the two down bars in the back because I'm going to do something different. Probably just do some that are straight and go all the way down to the chassis, as well as a bar from like that corner right there down to where the front of the leaf springs mount to the frame. So that will tie that together super nice. I'll do that after I body drop this thing. And I haven't quite gotten to that part yet, but that might happen in the next time lapse here in just a second. So I'm gonna put a lot of work into this video, which, I mean, that was a good like 5-hour run right there, as far as all of the tearing stuff apart I got done there. And then we'll keep after it. But that's going to be tomorrow for me, but in just a few seconds for you guys. So, and just even stuff like this just sticks out to me, because if they get into a crash on the street, that's in danger of somebody's head hitting it, you know, in the passenger seat. And unfortunately, you got to try and think about stuff like that when you're building cars for people. You certainly hope that it never does happen, but you have to think about stuff like that. And certainly you can't think of everything. So there's that. But you do your best to think of as much stuff as you can that can protect the people that are going to be inside of the vehicle. And we're going to put some padding on the cage too, just for that same reason, because obviously hitting your head on a bare roll bar is not a lot of fun. I got a hard head, but that would still hurt. So you saw I got all the suspension out, got the gas tank out, and for once somebody brought me a car to work on that had at least half tank of gas in it. Not gonna mention names, but yeah, that thing's still here too. It's like you fix one thing, something else breaks. Fix that thing, something else breaks. But I guess that's hot rods. And when people drop their cars off with us, we got to fix them. So anyways, I'm actually going to strip the brake lines out because we'll do new brake lines in it. I think definitely move the Rife block just because that's going to be easier to get the bar through to come down to the frame. I still haven't decided what I'm doing here. I know I got to cut all this off, and I know this is bent where this bar is right here. You can see it's actually punched up into this bar a little bit, and I think it's done the same thing down here. Like this bar is punched into this tube. So part of me wants to maybe add a bar here, or maybe it's up under here down to there, and then just whoosh, slice that off, leave this, because I don't think that's bent. At least that hole looks like it's straight. The back bolts both came out really poorly. So kind of made me think something was bent, or maybe it's just the tabs there. But we'll also tie, like we'll go from that, not the control arm on the ground, the front K-member deal, we'll go from there backwards to the frame with a tube to support it a little better. Getting close to where we're actually going to start putting stuff back in, hopefully. Although if I cut the mounts off of the frame, I might send the frame out to have it sandblasted right down the road, just because they could turn that around in a day or two, and then I've got nice clean metal to work with. That kind of appeals to me, instead of having to grind and get all the greasiness. I'm probably filthy where I've been leaning up against this thing as I've been working on it, but just get it all clean. I like clean stuff, you know, maybe you do too. We're gonna do something different with the steering shaft too, because it coming out right there, and then with the combination of how far back the rack is in this thing, which actually the rack I think is pretty close to where it needs to be, with the exception of it maybe not being perfectly straight. It felt like it was a little crooked when it was all bolted in there. Yeah, I want to bring it down through the floor there, but that's going to mean putting a joint in the interior of the truck. And that means, you know, the snowball gets a little bigger, and I've got to rework some of that big assembly right there to do things. Anyways, I'm rambling. It's late. Anyways, be back in just a second. All right, back the next day, and it's afternoon time again. But we have been actually doing some stuff over here in this corner. You can see we kind of put some work in cleaning that up, which I know maybe it doesn't look all that different, but it was getting to where I could barely walk between the truck and the shelving unit. So you can see I shelved stuff up there a little bit better, put all the blower stuff on the bottom shelf. We got our control arms and spindles separated, got all of the TBM brake stuff boxed up, and I'm going to take it back to Jim Braun next weekend at the Out for Blood race, where we are going to be racing Soccer Mom, and they're gonna like go through, freshen all the calipers, just make sure they're all good. And yes, I'm probably going a little overboard on having stuff like that done, but being that we're working on this thing, I want to make it nice. I want to make it the nicest I can possibly make it when I hand it back to them, which it's kind of led to a little bit of a snowball effect, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, for George and Cleet, we really want this thing to be super awesome. So that kind of leads us to the next step of this video, which hopefully we're gonna be able to wrap up pretty quick here, because as you can see, there's not a lot left that's tying the body to the frame. We got a couple of broken or stripped body mount bolts. And then, yeah, I think that motor mount's, or that body mount is bent too. It looks like it's kind of laid down there, which, you know, maybe we can, I don't know, maybe it's bent, maybe it's not. But we're gonna take the brake lines off, get that situated, and then we're going to cut off the bolts that are there, and then we'll set this on some jack stands and hopefully lift the body up off of the frame. And then once we do that, get that sandblasted, and I'm going to be welding stuff into this next week. So finally an episode where we will be putting stuff back in rather than taking stuff back out. Maybe. I still have to work out what I'm going to do on the steering shaft right there. I'm going to make it to where it comes out somewhere down here lower, because the steering joints were very abrupt here to get down to the rack, which was bolted there. So we want to try and fix that. Just we want to try to fix all kinds of little things. If it can be fixed, we're going to try and fix it. But still not go so overboard that this is out of the realm of something that you could do at your house. It's kind of the theme of this project. Like, I'm going to try and do everything and document it in a way that hopefully makes you guys feel like you can do this kind of stuff at your house or in your garage. You know, it might take a while. These things sometimes do take a while. But if we can explain it in a way where everybody can understand it, my goal is that more people will do this stuff themselves and either A, appreciate the time that it takes to do this kind of stuff, and maybe B, the side effect of that is, you know, when a shop tells you it's going to be more money than you think it is, you understand the kind of time that goes into a project like this. I mean, there's going to be lots of hours in this thing. But when you're building one at your house and you're just doing it, you know, 2-3 hours a day, playing in your garage, or maybe it's a Friday night, Saturday project for you. There's a couple guys in my neighborhood that have been building some trucks, and I drive by and, you know, see what they're doing. And one of them just fired up last week. He's been working on it for like a year. It was a big, exciting day. So, anyways, are you ready to get to work?
Let's go.
Waiting on you.
Waiting on you.
Just like I was in the race.
Damn. Actually, I have some other stuff to go do. I'm done. It's Friday, 4 o'clock.
All right, so we better get to hustling.
All right.
Okay.
We need a bunch of cutting tools.
Yep.
Apparently.
The big dog cutoff wheel.
Oh, the big dog.
The big dog.
Oh boy.
And we need a sawzall and some jack stands and yeah, a grinding, maybe an actual grinding disc to get the couple of busted bolts. Like, we're gonna have to grind the head off some bolts. So, all right, enough talking. Let's get to work. we have separation. I don't think that's the kind of separation we want on a leaf spring car, though.
No.
I mean, it's the kind of separation we want right now, but not the kind of separation we want when you're going down the racetrack. Like, you know, you want that rear end to dig into the ground and take off. But this is what we're removing times 8. Yep. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Plus, you gotta think
this
is
times
probably
8.
half a pound shy of what is actually a body mount because of all this, you know?
Yeah. And like,
that's kind of heavy. I say that's
3 pounds.
I say that's 3.5, 4 pounds.
What you think, CJ?
There's a body and a front. They're not connected anymore.
Remind you of your project at home?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so CJ has what year is it?
It's a 96.
96 S10.
So same generation as this, but just
Yep.
S10?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, we did some things. So, but in removing that, so what's, shoot, let's just say it's 3 pounds. 3 times 8, that's 24 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's,
Definitely.
we'll add a little bit of weight back to connect the frame to the body mount, or with a bolt and then like an aluminum washer, but we've got to figure out what our spacing is going to be. And plan is right now we're going to cut out the cross member there, which Eddie thinks was for
I don't know, torsion bars.
Torsion bars. It kind of looks like it.
Holes
Did
in
your
it?
truck have that?
I don't think so, no.
So we're going to cut that out and probably do a drive shaft loop, because the truck didn't have a drive shaft loop. We're going to do a 4-bolt removable transmission cross member. And I think we're going to end up redoing the mid plate. Well, I knew we were going to do the mid plate bolts because we were going to do a hoop. But you can see where this is punched into the frame right there, where this thing slammed down. So when we get the engine in here supported better, I know they can tear some stuff up, but the goal will be that they can stand the thing up on the freaking trailer hitch and slam it down, and it shouldn't throw the motor out of it. It might wreck all kinds of other stuff, break the glass and all kinds of stuff, but the motor should stay in its place when we're done with it. So, yeah, that's definitely something to look at. And on the rears, I definitely think, so you can see how flush I was able to cut off the back mounts for the roll cage. I'll be able to clean that off, and once we get it back, I'll be able to just probably take a ratchet strap and pull the bottom of the cage into the frame and re-weld that. And then on the front, we're going to relocate and shorten this bar a little bit. Like, I'll take this off, and then we can trim this up so that we'll make a new bar that just goes to the frame, and then I'll be able to re-weld it and all that good stuff. But that's going to do it for this video. And we'll see how much it'll probably drain all the brake fluid out of it. And yeah, I think that's some progress. Hopefully, we probably have one more episode of cutting stuff off. Maybe. I mean, let's see. What do we got left? We got to fix we're going to cut off the mid plate. We're still back and forth on these front bars. And then
I think you just cut them off. I don't like this.
It's definitely wounded.
It's definitely wounded. Yeah.
Yeah,
Low
there's
right there.
And since we're lowering the body on the frame, we would need to remake these mounts anyway. So we might as well just blast them off. We're not using that alternator mount, so we get all that one. Yeah, I think you're right. For once.
More work for you. For once, I'm always right. At least twice a day.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this video. We're all headed out to the racetrack to go test Soccer Mom. Well, actually, Will's driving Soccer Mom. And because we're testing for Out for Blood, that's the No Time Shootout at Bradenton next weekend. So if you're in the area, come down and see us there. But Yeah, we're going to be running the 530 index class only because it pays $10,000 per day to win. And I made it down to 4 cars at one race, the World Series of Pro Mod event. So I'm going to try it again, see if we can get into the money at that race. 10 grand a day. I mean,
that's pretty good.
That's some money.
Not gonna lie. The fact that it's 10,000 a day for a 530 index class,
Yeah.
and it's less money
Yeah,
for the
yeah. The heads up class where we would be wringing its neck is 5,000 to win. So,
wow. Double and triple enter.
well, if we lose 530, I'm going to try and buy into street style. We'll just turn it up and send it.
Yeah.
All right, enough jibber jabbering. Hope you guys have a great weekend. See you next time.